Hi, Ian Roberts and Mastering Composition. So I just want to thank you for the comments. I really appreciate your telling me that you're enjoying the videos. And this week we're going to talk again about structure and shapes, making up paintings, because that really is the foundation of composition. But just before I talk about that, I just want to mention that a lot of people say, I keep going like this, like there's a link down below and you can't find it. And it's because if you're looking for the colors on the palette, my books, Mastering Composition, Creative Authenticity, or the email link to join up and get this in your inbox every Tuesday, there is a link down below, but it just is like one sentence of text and then it says show more. You click on show more and it all comes down above the comments. It's all in there, you just have to click on it. So usually when I paint, I draw an outline. You've seen it in past demonstrations. I've got the grid and the outline and where things are on the picture plane. And this week, I'm starting with a completely blank canvas, no lines at all. But what you're going to see is that I'm measuring the shapes as I go. I'm not really creating an outline, I'm just measuring the shapes one against the other. And to do that, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes analyzing the image before you see me starting to paint it. Because there's a very specific structure that allows for just seeing this in terms of shapes. And I want to spend some time on it, my thinking, before I begin to paint. So you start to see the thinking process that is leading towards this idea of something that's so foundational, this seeing in terms of shapes and not in terms of detail. So listen, I hope you really enjoy it, and let's get started. You can see it's quite a complex scene, but I'm going to show you how I've broken it down. Now the first thing is there's great light on it, right? There's really good sense of where the light is coming from and the lights and the dark. The big value masses that we're looking at, that part is clear. The second thing is there's really good structure. Look at the verticals here. The only thing that I do is I push this one over a little bit so it doesn't kind of sit right in the middle. There's the verticals here, there's the verticals here. Just look at all these things are helping structure. And then there's the horizontals, right? They're all in here. We can sort of get that one implied back there. There's all these horizontals going on, and they're all helping orchestrate the structure. I've shown you in past videos the advantage of having a grid and how it helps you get the proportions. But look in this case, where you have a tree here, and say this bush is coming across, and let's say that's the halfway point, so that's about a third, right? And then this bush here, which I paint in, is just slightly above halfway. So you see, because there's so many horizontals and verticals, they really help you figure out the proportions of how everything fits together. And the other thing is there's really good overlaps of things moving back into space. Right? We're seeing this comes to this, to here, to here, to here. There's really good overlaps pulling us back into space. And I'm going to simplify all this stuff up here. You'll see it'll just be one big light and dark shape. This thing, all those little lit things there, I get rid of those. And most of that I get rid of. So I've got an object there that's in front of this one, that's in front of this one. There's a big bush here. There's a big bush here that's in front, or that's behind this one, that's like that. So you can see the simplicity I'm trying to create as I go forward. You'll see that in the block-in. And then how the eye moves is we've got this pull up to here, right into there, into the most interesting, engaging color, and also the geometry of the building. So you'll see the whole thing kind of brings us up to here, and everything else supports it. You can see that I don't have an outline here. It's just a piece of canvas stretched on a board, 16 by 20. And I just did that because I didn't have one, and I'll attach it to a panel later. But you see I'm using the shape to draw. I don't have lines around things. I mean, you'll see sometimes I'm forming the lines, but I'm seeing the shape there. I'm trying to figure out, there's the vertical, there's the next shape, I'm seeing the shape and I'm trying to get the proportion. You see there, I'm drawing the shape as opposed to drawing outlines and then filling them in. I'm shifting the color so that that shadow green is not nearly as dark as the one above it. So there's the next bush over, and there I'm sort of trying to figure out where that one is, and then there's another trunk here. You see the sort of the drawing, proportion, shape making is all happening at the same time. Here we're sort of figuring out the shape of something, and then we can fill it in. So it's not like, as I often do, create this pretty detailed drawing, gridded to make sure. This one has such good structure to it that I'm just sort of finding my way forward with the shapes and not filling in an outline. And it's a very different way of working. And, you know, if you're sort of, if you finish the whole thing, or you'll see there's certain places where I realize, that's not quite the right place. You just push some of the new paint into the other one and just shift the size of it like that. But you can see that I'm just going in with all the shadow shapes first, kind of getting all that, because just by leaving the white canvas, you already start to get the sense of the sunshine hitting the lawn there. And then, getting the building in, you're starting to get, there's a whole layer of stuff going on in behind this. You're starting to see the overlaps of that. But again, I'm just drawing the shape in. I'm responding to the shapes, not to outlines, filling in outlines, and sort of, it's like all this interplay of things overlapping back into space. And then here's, and you'll see that each of these shapes are pretty much the ones that I said I was going to do at the beginning, and all those things that I said I was going to leave out, they're gone now. All those frilly things up there. I'm keeping the shapes pretty simple. And you'll see by the end of the block-in how simple they all are, and yet it still reads, right? So there's the sunlit, and you get a real temperature shift. I knocked that green back. It's a little bit too intense a green, but you certainly get the idea of sunshine hitting that lawn. I mean, whoa, okay. That's definitely a shadow, and that's definitely sunshine. And then here I'm just going to be putting in the trunks. And, there'll be more paint that goes onto it that modulates it, and the sun hits the side of it and so on. And then this one needs to be a little bit wider because it's kind of the big one in the middle. And there is the finished block-in. And you'll notice that everything is already working, right? You already get the sense of the overlap and the shapes and so on like that. Everything is kind of coming together. And it's very simple in terms of the shapes and the simplicity, and yet the general idea is there. So I'm just going to take one more minute and just show you some of the steps that I took from the block-in to the finished painting. Here you can see the paint is much thicker, but I'm still thinking in terms of shapes. And then this is where I want you to go, sort of the center of interest. So I'm warming that up and creating the contrast that'll pull our attention there. But you still see I'm just shape, and then I realize, I need the building coming out the other end, so I just put that in there. And then compare this in the photograph to the big simple shapes of light and dark I'm putting up in the sky. None of those filigree branches and little twigs. See, that's really big simple shapes compared to what you see in the photograph. I'm really trying to think in terms of shapes, and here you can see I'm really getting some shadows in at the bottom of all the hedges. They need to be adjusted as I go along, a little hit of light right there. And there's the maul stick that holds my hand. I use the top of the easel, holds my hand steady, and there is the finished painting. And you can see it's the same image as you have in the block-in, but now everything's just been pulled forward. I mean, it's exactly the same. It's just shapes, but they're all just been modulated and adjusted and kind of hold together. Is it better? I'm not sure it's actually better than the block-in. It's certainly more finished, but the structure and the various shapes making it up are strong enough that whether it's half finished or completely finished, if we're going to use those words, they both work because the structure is holding it together. So I hope you found that helpful. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it. I'm creating a link, which should be right here now, to an earlier video I made in June that's now had about 200,000 views of painting shapes and not things. And I'm just going through the entire demonstration from beginning to end, so you kind of see me pull the whole thing out, not just little clips of it. So I hope you have a great week. I will see you on Tuesday, and bye for now.